Okay, hello, good evening, and welcome. This is all about why happiness is important and what to do about it. So I'm just going to check that I'm going out because I certainly seem to be. So that's good. Just waiting for the time lag. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going out. That's brilliant. Um, Okay, so let's get down to it. So, good evening, welcome. I'm Peter Buick. This is about why happiness is important and what we can do about it. So, I haven't rehearsed this. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to say. I'm probably going to sneeze in a minute as well. It's all, live action stuff going on here. Hang on. Yes, I did sneeze. So there we go. Okay, so here we go. So this is episode 1. Not quite sure what I'm going to say, so it's going to be interesting. So, I should have put a little slide in, but I forgot to do that. So I'm just going to quickly plop that in, and because I think it's good to have a little picture here. Just makes it a little bit more interactive for me, anyway. Okay, so how do I get rid of that now? Oh, there we go. And yes, so the reason why this graphic's super important is because it's about you. It's my reminder to, to ask you stuff, basically. So here I am asking you stuff. So let me just see who's in the room, because that's good. So we've got Mary, Tony, Ray, Marcel. Marcel's turned up, excellent. I've got Rosie, Kate, Elvis, Jimmy, John, Sanjay, Ruth. Did I say Ruth already? I can't remember. Mike, Stephen, Dean, and Paul. So that's great. So I'm not going to ask you if you can hear me, because that's just a ridiculous, kind of question. Because if you can't hear me, then then you wouldn't know that I'm asking you. So hang on, I've lost the chat thing. So I'm gonna let's go straight into it. And what is happiness for you? Okay, so that's gonna be an interesting one, isn't it? And of course, the other thing that I'm supposed to do is to have a little response thing here, so that I can put your answers in, so that you can see. What your peers or whoever have said. So let's have a quick look. So all the windows are in different places. So Tony's saying a good meal, and Marcel is saying peace of mind. Sanjay is saying, oops, sorry, I was putting that wrong. Being with friends. I won't do them all because it would be all night otherwise. This is another interesting one. Stephen is saying helping others. And let's pick one of the controversial ones. Ray is saying nice stuff. And yeah, that kind of sums it up. I think there's various other descriptions, but that's basically what we're saying. So that's all interesting, isn't it? So I mean, there's no right or wrong answers. Whatever happiness is for you, that's the right answer. But I want to put a different seed in your mind to what true happiness would be. So, for instance, the nice stuff one. Okay, that's an interesting one, because I would say that People do equate happiness with pleasure or joy. And that's true because it makes us happy, but only, for a fleeting time. And usually, what underpins that happiness is actually, sharing it, with others, or being, noticed or respect, envied and that sort of thing. And I think, you from your own experience, you probably certainly know that this is true. Is that people with, mega stuff, in other words, rich people and people who are affluent and got everything that they could possibly want, are not necessarily happy. Okay, which is a shame, isn't it? Because otherwise we could just buy more stuff if we had the money and be happy. But that's not what happens. So, we do get pleasure and joy out of owning stuff, but really that's not really happiness, or certainly not in my books. I don't know. A lot of you are agreeing. No, I think you're all agreeing, actually. I think some of you haven't quite got what I've said there, but, most of you are agreeing with it in one way or the other. So, as I say, stuff, does make us, give us pleasure and joy, but it's not really happiness, because we know that people with lots of stuff can still be unhappy, and there are people, conversely, with no stuff, who can still be happy. So, what is happiness? So the other thing, as I say, none of these are wrong. It's just, they're all, none of them are wrong. But the other thing I think that's worth, mentioning is that the number one kind of thing that's usually said, certainly in, the sort of teachings kind of, books and stuff and philosophies and all that, is contentment. So happiness is contentment. And although that's kind of true, I don't like that one personally. Because contentment kind of means that you don't want anything and you don't need anything. Certainly not needing anything, is good, because if you can eat and, you've got a house and all that kind of stuff, then that's great. And if you're, content with, the people that you're with, even if it's a small group or something, then again, that's good. But that's not really happiness for me, and I don't know if, being content is enough for you. And another, very common, phrase in the teachings kind of things is living in the moment. Okay, now that I kind of agree with, because we tend to live life, very fast-paced, and everybody wants instant gratification, and we're all basically overwhelmed with choices and noise. Okay, and it doesn't give us much of a chance to appreciate what's happening. And certainly I've become more aware that gratitude is very important, and being aware of the moment is important as well. Or sorry, not aware, well, it is aware, but appreciating the moment. And that's the thing that I'm gonna possibly surprise you with, with the appreciating the moment. So the problem is, or the question is, why is gratitude important? Why is being aware and appreciating the moment important? And I think the main thing is that it's kind of a bit like demands, really, because other people have their own agendas, and that tends to basically interrupt our own our own agenda, basically. And if we constantly live like that, then we're going to get overwhelmed. And in a minute we're going to go through with the things that happiness is not, because it's actually easier to work out that way around. But if we're overwhelmed, that generally means is that we're not happy. I don't know anybody who's overwhelmed who is happy. I mean, they might be distracted or escaping or whatever, but literally overwhelmed, they're not usually happy. So we know that we don't want to be overwhelmed, and so we don't want all this noise from other people and all the all this stuff that's being thrown at us. And if we don't take the time to live in the moment, then basically we're going to be overwhelmed and not be happy. Now the other thing with gratitude is that basically it's about appreciating what we have and enjoying it, versus wishing and being incomplete or those kind of words. Okay, so I think hopefully you're with me. I should check what you're thinking in just 1 second. So let me just bring that over. This is very live. I haven't even set up the things. And normally I put the question up there, but I'm going to put the question is here. So, what have I just said? So, do you understand? In fact, I didn't ask you about that, did I? I'm going to ask you: Is content? I can't even spell it now. Is contentment important to you, or do you understand? Why it might be important to other people. So let me just take this out and okay, so I'm going to tell you what I think in a minute. So let's see what's happening. So what have we got? So Marcel, he likes to be content. He does have to resist. I like the way you put that. Resist the urges, of stuff making him happy, and he doesn't think. It's a long one. Okay, he doesn't think that he's grateful enough. Okay, interesting. Okay, it's got a long one, so let's just have another look. Stephen says he likes to just be, so that's kind of being, contentment. And how can I summarise what you're saying there? Life's distractions, let's call it that, which could also include other people's demands, which is always a thing, that we all have. That's it. Gets in his way too often. Okay, let's just do one more. It's got an interesting one. Right, that's interesting. So, Mike says he likes to be stretched. So I think I know what he means by that, and that's interesting because that's kind of the way I feel as well. So anyway, I think that kind of sums up what everyone's thinking. That's an important one to put in. Paul never feels content. Okay, so that's a very valid point. I think a lot of us, have that issue. So let's make sure we're still going out. I think we are. Okay, so so how can I explain this? Because it's it's going to sound kind of contradictory, but contentment is important. Because if you're content with things, then then you're not. You're happy with the now. You're probably aware of the now, which I do think is important. But the reason I don't just like being content is because of what Mike said, which is not being stretched. And I don't think we're really kind of on the planet to to just exist. Okay, I've got a real problem personally with just existing. I know that's very thing of me, but I don't think that's what I don't think that's what we're to do, and I don't think that's when that's when we get the most out of ourselves. Okay, I don't think we reach our potential when we're just existing. Okay, now, and I'll tell you why I think that's valid. Have you ever heard the phrase "in the zone"? Okay, who's saying? Yeah, it's about 2/3, I think. About 60% of you are saying yes. You know what being in the zone. You're familiar with that phrase. So being in the zone basically just means that you're so absorbed by something, okay, that time just flies, and you forget to eat, and you're 100% focused, and you've got amazing productivity. You're really getting stuff done, and you're loving what you're doing, and and it's making you feel I don't know, warm and fluffy. I know that's a really stupid way of putting it, but you know what I mean. And and time just flies. Okay, I was going to do it in a minute, but I think the main reason for that is because it's not too easy, which could mean it's boring, and it's not too hard, because that would be overwhelming. Okay, but contrast that with being content, where you're just kind of being. And I know it's good and important to have times when you're just being. That's kind of what meditation and stuff is about, and what mindfulness is about. But we don't want to do that all the time. So that's not really happiness for me. Happiness for me is being in the zone. Okay, and as we said, being in the zone means that it's not too easy and it's not too hard. So that really means, back to what Mike said, which is that we're being stretched. And another, thing, other people might describe it as is, that we're exploring. Okay, and a lot of us are natural, explorers. We want to know what's going on. We want to know how things work. We want to see if we can make things better. All that kind of stuff. Okay, and that's what I think that is. So, I think for me, contentment is not being not just being. Okay, but it's actually being stretched, so that I'm in the zone. So stretched, but not too far stretched, that I'm in the zone. Okay, so that's probably going to be a bit controversial. So let's just see. Okay, I should check the time because I'm going to try and make these short. Okay, well, we're over time. Wow. Okay, so, gosh. Okay. So let's see what you what you, sorry, there's a spelling mistake there, but never mind. What you think of, that. So, I guess I'm saying, well, let's see how you phrase it. So Dean is saying, I think he's agreeing with me. So is that, well, not agreeing with me, he has the same feelings as me. Being in the zone is contentment. Okay. And I really can't spell today. Stephen's saying he's fine, with contentment and just being, so that's fine. There's no rules, there's no right or wrong answers. And he wishes he could do more of it. Okay, and that's good. But I just wonder if that actually makes you happy, or whether it just gives you peace. You see, and that's confusing, isn't it? Because, we can't be not happy unless we have peace. But if we have peace, can we, be truly happy? Okay, so I guess I'm asking Stephen, do you like to be, in the zone? Do you want to be the most you can be? Do you want to reach your potential? Do you strive, to go further? I think I'm going to sneeze again, which is really annoying. But anyway, tell me what you think, Stephen. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Right, no, so that's interesting, isn't it? So he's saying, yes, I want all of those as well. Which is fantastic. Okay, so there we go. That's kind of the point, isn't it? Is that happiness is arguably, or my opinion. I need to say my opinion, really. So and I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Happiness is not standing still. Okay, that's one of my things. So as I say, in the next show we're going to go through a list of nots. So what is happiness is not, because it's kind of hard to define, isn't it? Because we started off by saying where were we? Stuff, and meals and friends, and helping others and all this kind of stuff. And then we've come to this one, where contentment and all that, but we like to be in the zone, we like to be stretched, we like to be explorers. So that's coming into what happiness is for us as well. And even Stephen, who likes to be content and just be and all that kind of stuff, and his main thing by the look of it is that he doesn't like being distracted from that. So that makes him unhappy, but does being, just being, does that make him happy? And actually, he's kind of said no, because he wants all of, these as well. Okay, so it's interesting, isn't it? So that's kind of all we've got time for in this show. We'll do again tomorrow. I know it's super brief, but I don't want to, go on too long and, and wear people out, really. So I was hoping to leave you with, a thought or something. So I'll just leave you with this to reflect on, I guess. So, what is happiness, to you? Okay? And, we've mentioned tonight the difference between, or the possible differences between contentment and pleasure. And, pleasure is basically, from stuff, or events, or being with people at one time. But that may or may not make you happy. But the trouble with pleasure is that it's fleeting. And I guess the interesting thing about happiness, so I need another box for this really, which is what I want you to think about till tomorrow, is whether for you pleasure is fleeting, okay, because when the event ends, or we're bored with the thing, or we lose the thing, or we want a new thing, the pleasure is fleeting. But the question is happiness fleeting, or should it be, or can it be, or can it not be? Okay. That's a devil of a question, isn't it? Okay, let me just put your responses in there because it's quite funny. Not funny, but great. So let me just take this box over. Stuff it down there. Alright, so okay, so sorry, let me just see what happens. Sanjay's going, wow, mind blown. Love that when that happens to people. Marcel is saying, that's an interesting one. Marcel is saying, never really known happiness, only pleasure. So, and that's really, I mean, I couldn't sum that up better. That's really why we're here with this series, okay? Because that's not, we can't let that happen, or we shouldn't let that happen if we're trying to get that so we can be at least happy more of the time. Not, I can't say all of the time, it's not possible, but more of the time. So, that's exactly why we're here. And Ray is saying, Ray is saying, I've just sacked contentment. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so we're starting a mini revolution. Okay, so that's it, unfortunately. So I'm going to end the show here. I want to thank you, so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And, oh, hang on, sorry, I missed a comment there. Marcel is saying he is in the zone. Wow. Oh, yeah, he's in the zone. Brilliant. So, there we go. So I'm going to leave that till tomorrow night, and I shall see you again then. Thank you for coming. I should have a great catchphrase, but I haven't thought of one yet. So, I'm gonna nick one from somebody else, just until I think of one, which is actually from a song. I don't know if you remember it, and I forgot his name. Bobby McFerrin or something McFerrin. Anyway, don't worry, be happy. It was a song, and I must admit it makes me feel happy when I listen to it, or gives me joy, I should say, when I listen to it. So that's it. Talk to you then. Bye bye for now. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Yes. Bye bye.